Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today, Emily?
Good. I like the winter vibes.
On my side. Oh, really? Oh, it's just like a little bit cold and a little bit of still need to heat up.
Snowing outside?
Sorry?
Is it snowing outside?
No, it isn't. No, it's not that bad. It was a week ago. Really beautiful back then.
Nice.
I'm landing in my brand more and more and more. So
How
this is kind of the result. First,
how
how
have
are
you
you,
been?
Emily?
How have you been?
Yeah, good. Like a lot of fun things happening in my life. Really a lot of fun things.
Girlfriend?
Exciting. No. Um, uh,
I'm joking. I mean,
uh,
I'm joking, but I'm not.
love is going to be on the calendar, but like not for, or on the like vision board, but not for now. There are still some other things I need to take care of first. That's totally fine. And the main focus now is taking care of me.
I agree. I feel you.
So like,
And same wave.
yeah, I actually feel like, okay, if I can be the next version first, I can meet someone being that next version as well. And that's totally fine if that happens, and even if it still happens for the next 10 years. Yes.
Not for me. Not
Yeah,
for me.
because you wouldn't want children, Emily, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what the super funny thing is? Super funny thing. Like on paper, everything that you have or are is matching my ideal girlfriend.
Okay.
That's for real. Like all of your like focus, mindset, personal growth, happiness, family life, having children. And like the only reason why I don't really actively see that as an option because of the traveling distance. So that's quite interesting that that's the limiting factor that is currently holding me back.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, maybe
right?
maybe I could be the one to facilitate you finding that one.
Could be as well. That you're like, because everyone in your family is kind of living the way that you're living. Well, not exactly, but approximately. And that's amazing. Like that's a world that I really don't know. And that's quite magnificent. I I think.
Yeah, I agree. I'm grateful. It has taken work, but it's been worth it.
Yeah, great. That's the thing, right?
Yeah. It's like I've always been so aware of how our family dynamics influence our whole life.
Yeah.
Like from a psychology and like therapeutic perspective, it's very, very important to do
Yeah.
that like family healing lineage or just like that family dynamics because they're usually the most challenging relationships.
Yes. And those are the ones that I'm currently fighting against as well to my brother who actually lives here. Or I live with his place. My mother, the way that she just treated me last week, the way my father is treating me. Nobody is noticing all of the positive changes that I'm doing in the house, like cleaning, like doing the dishes, have everything like taken care of. Um, and they even blame me for it. Who are you to have the right to make something better? Who are you?
Mm.
That's also the world that I'm in.
Hmm.
Like,
So you live with your brother right now?
yes,
Is he older, younger?
he's older. Um, and the main story of that whole like situation is that um, I've seen many layers, and now I'm finally seeing the other side of the like possibility. I've never saw such comfort, luxury, wealth. Like it's okay for me to desire wealth as well. Here it's
Mm.
so like shameful that you're like looking at a beautiful Mercedes. Like, oh, you're not ever going to drive that one. It has been so crushed in the social circles though. So I don't mean the whole Netherlands or heel Weegt, but in the social circles that I currently find myself on. And sometimes I do see people in the Netherlands who are like, you don't have that trauma that I see in my own social circles. You don't are afraid for other people, like wanting them to strive, want them to grow. It's really not a like situation that I've grew up in.
Mhm.
We're really happy that you pressed record on this one. Thank you. But Emily, like compliments, and this is the best kind of coaching that you can give. This, like the stuff that we've been learned by Mind Valley is not always like working properly. This, what you just did, listen, be interested, and asking further questions is the coaching. And this is your escape into, or your possibility into future or into freedom.
Yeah, it's my love for coaching. I love coaching. I have a heart of coach.
Yeah. Is that, by the way, is that your real background?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I don't know, just so magnificent.
What?
That's so magnificent that it's actually like your real like place that you are in.
Yeah.
Do you know like the TV series Peaky Blinders?
No.
Oh, really? Oh, you should really watch that one. Oh, my
What is
advice to you. And Peaky Blinders.
keep?
No, like the reason why I'm like Google it if you've got time.
Oh,
Um, because I noticed myself my own behaviors like matching his from the main character. And that's partially what I want to bring and to you. Because that will really give a good insight upon how I think.
is it my internet or do I feel like you're breaking off a bit? Is it-
Oh, I have a little lag here, but almost no lag.
Okay. I mean, I'll just ignore it.
Oh, oh, and I want to show you
Yes.
where is my album? I still don't really get ahead of the iPhone just yet. It's really doesn't make sense. Really don't understand it.
iPhone?
Yeah,
Really?
Well, I'm coming from Android, so like I'm relearning myself. It's quite difficult if you need to switch from Android to iPhone.
Huh.
It's really difficult. Like I've got no idea how people like use this thing. Like you effective. Like, if you know someone who can teach me that, like address them to me. Like seriously, I need to learn this thing. It's part of asking for help. Um, oh, let me kind of. How do you do that again? Blur my background. Yeah. So that's that top building line.
Huh?
That's the place that I want to get myself.
In the in
And sorry,
in the Netherlands?
yeah, in my home city. So everything will be very close. And this will be my motorcycle. Whoop, whoop. There it
Nice.
is. That one at least. And then, yeah, it's not really, this is not the ideal car, but I prefer the Mercedes even more. This is the BMW, but the Mercedes even better. And that's partly why I need to start talking to guys instead of talking to girls.
You do talk to guys. You talk to both, don't you?
Yeah, but barely. And the guys that I talk to are pretty feminine.
Feminine?
Yeah, even I am pretty feminine. And it's not a downside, but like it is what it is. Like it's just an observation on their character comparison to the masculine and the feminine. Just like both ends of the spectrum. Some everyone is somewhere. Like if you like that's the whole solution of the whole gender problem. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people lean more towards one side or the other.
Of course, and everyone is somewhere in that spectrum
Yeah.
between left and right. I don't care. Like this is like, but this is the engineer in me. Like yesterday, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine. Like it's basically just a Gauss sequence
Mhm.
between the feminine and the masculine, and most people are close to the minimum, to the middle, like by the average or the average by the mean. And some of them are really extreme, and some of them are really extreme, like feminine and masculine.
Mhm.
Well, everyone is there. Who cares? Whatever combination that you guys like have encountered. Like that's the whole solution on gender equality, gender conflict, and
Yeah, I feel that.
it's such a. I've mentioned this already a couple of times. It feels like a level of clarity as you see everything. And even though it's sometimes difficult to actually make the steps to actually do the stuff,
Wait,
it
say that
starts
again. Start all
it
over?
it it starts everything with or I feel like that I'm start seeing everything.
You're
Level of
start,
clarity.
okay, level. Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
I am. Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah. And um it doesn't mean that I'm like perfect in every situation based on my own observations just yet. I'm getting better and better at it. But the level of awareness is the first step.
Hmm.
And with that level of awareness, then I can change myself a little bit to improve that contrast that I experienced, that I saw.
What is the main thing that you are, as far as level of clarity? Like, what is that?
I don't I, I don't want to talk about the main thing, but I think the in-depth one, the most important one that I'm experiencing is the multiplication of time.
The what? The multiplication of time?
Yes.
Hmm. How's, tell me more.
Partially because um, what you do is like you record yourself a piece of content or something, 10 seconds or longer, where you actually like speak your truth, like have something to think about, like express yourself into that voice record, then listen back to it. While you're listening back to it, you will notice some parts of your story are either contradiction or not really understanding the depth of what you wanted to say. And with that feedback, you can create the in-depth level of thinking of that 10 seconds. So you can experience multiple layers of the thing that you just experienced. And with that, the understanding of, is it an understanding? Yeah, your level of understanding gets improved. So you can speak better truths because you like notice all of the difference, like you've reviewed yourself. With that, you can increase the level of your thinking at this present moment. And that's then what I call like multiplications of time, because there are so many little nuggets inside of that 10 seconds that you consider, but the finding those depths is the like the spiritual journey, is the becoming known of your unconscious, known of your own conscious of your own unconscious. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. And I think that's also like, I mean, on my own experience, because I also go back and do reflect on my like what I share or hearing my voice. But I think that's a rare quality because I feel like a lot of people don't do that, but it's so helpful.
And a lot of people can learn
Yeah.
because it starts so practically, so small. And content creators were one of the first ones who did it.
Mhm.
But now, currently, creators have been persuaded into sales and marketing. So they're expressing the wrong thing. They're becoming the puppet. They're like turning into the bad side. It's not really that, but into the unhelpful desire
Yeah, because
instead
now,
of expressing.
yeah, they're coming from a different angle, different agenda now because it's like, oh, it's all sales and marketing. So it's kind of
Yeah, it's all
that
about selling and doing and doing and doing.
and the loss of creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that those are the kind of things that I've been thinking about. Huh.
That's fun.
Yeah.
How are you? I mean, did you officially leave your job
Yes. It was making me feel worse.
that you left?
Yeah,
Why?
because it was making me feel worse.
Because what? Because of the finances?
No, because it was making me feel worse.
Yeah, well, so now that you left it, you feel better, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like that's the only true answer because we discussed about the concept of asking the why.
Yeah.
Like that's the truest underlying motivation. Why don't you do it? Because it makes me feel worse. Why do you do it? Because it makes me feel better.
Yep.
Right?
Well, I feel that, a lot of times my family and my siblings were like, "Well, why don't you get another job? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this on the side?" And it's like for me, that's like death to my soul.
And because of it, like being constantly you needed to work, or because they are asking you the why question.
No, they feel like I need to have another job.
Yeah, and why does that make you feel why? Like, what's the reason behind you feeling then so? um, like that you don't want to do that.
because it makes me feel worse.
Yeah. So like that's the only true answer on a why question, right?
Hmm.
So what's the point of asking a why question from us to each other?
You're pretty uncomfortable with why questions, right?
Mm, yeah, uncomfortable because of like this difference. Why do
Hmm.
you do it? Because I feel better because of it.
Yeah.
Like that's the only answer. And most people don't accept it. And then I get annoyed because people don't accept my answer. That's most often why I get annoyed.
That is your answer, not everybody else's.
Everyone can answer how they want.
Right. So I can
Sure,
answer differently than that.
true, if you want to. I,
Yeah.
I, I don't really think that that's the truest answer.
What?
If you say something different comparison is making me feel better or worse.
Well, that's your truest answer of what's making you, it's making you, that's your truest answer.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe it's someone else's that as a truest answer is theirs. Like for me, my why would be I have a little bit of a story. I have more details to it. It's not just like because it makes me feel, yes, that is an underlying thing, but there's specifics to it. There's a story to it. You know,
Of course, there are variables. Yes,
a lot of my life I didn't feel like I fit in or I was
yes. And the thing is, with like engineering, like what we've been taught, sometimes you like start coding a sentence or telling a story, and then the assignment becomes because the limited space on the hard drive or something like that, or in the ECM, like microchip, because that's limited, you're being asked to reduce the code into the most essential story.
right. Right, but
Because
it's a process to reduce. Like in a sense, sometimes you have to let it out in order to simplify, in order to
yes, yes, of course. Like you need to write the whole code to really understand the depth of it. And then the next step is, are you able to reduce that into the core message underneath?
right.
And that's something that we as engineers have been taught to do, like that way of thinking. And that's what I'm seeing not happening with most people. And that's such a like little nuance of difference. And that's the depth of where it can go to. Makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. But um,
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, but not everybody has an engineer mind like you.
true. And they could benefit if that's a skill that they would inquire or to get better at.
Yes.
That's the only thing that I'm saying. Like it's not coming from a place of judgment, but it's coming from a hey, this was a skill that I've identified, like mastered, and I'm not really seeing that just yet with other individuals as good comparison to how I'm doing it.
Mhm.
And maybe there's a whole new layer of society that I don't really know. They are actually doing this already. No idea. I'm looking for them because they kind of must be. So, like, I've got no idea. Maybe I'm wrong. No idea.
What?
I don't believe that I am, but maybe I'm wrong.
But
Like,
what?
what about everything? Well, yesterday I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and he said something beautiful from a philosopher or something. He said, the only thing that I know for sure is that I don't know things for sure. Well, maybe it was another. Maybe I paraphrased that one. Um, but that means like it's most probably that you don't know something just yet. And having that mindset of probably you don't know something just yet opened up worlds. And I'm talking about me as an electrical engineer. like really scientifically proven what's the underlying understanding of reality and then calculate it backwards. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. Like spirituality, house, heart, gut, brain. What are you talking? Vibration. What are you talking about? Like I've went through all of those layers. And I really can start also with my YouTube and all of that stuff. I can start teaching people what the depth of that thinking is. And that is my personal brand. That's what I'm doing. And it goes so much further than just productivity. Aim became closer. Now it's aim to be you. And maybe in the future, I'm going to translate that into you, just the letter U. And that's a train of thought that I'm currently leaning into. So that's stuff that I think I'm exhausted sometimes when I tell that.
Good. That means that you're growing.
Seriously.
Like it goes back full circle to, your history with I mean, coding and what you do, where you're like, okay, at first you kind of are gonna have a lot, but you work on reducing. So it's the
Optimizing.
same thing with your message. Like for me, that's been the journey to be able, like you said, eventually it's going to be just you. Like how
Yeah.
simple that, but how much work had to go into for you to get to that.
Yes. That's the thing, right? Do you know Astros, by the way? Astros from Iceland.
Who?
Astros, an energy worker from Iceland. Oh, I must introduce you guys. It would be so great to be together to have a conversation.
Your coach?
Yeah, she does like energy healing specifically.
Oh,
Goes beyond coaching. Um, like I really think that you would be a great match for her. Like one of the experiences that I'm making is I'm not looking for clients anymore, but I'm looking for people that I could connect with other people that might benefit from their service. That's the only thing that I started doing, or not service, but like connection. It's like interaction. Like, hey, I believe that you have something that they are missing. Like, hey, like, go help out. That's partially what I'm doing here in the Netherlands right now. Like, I reach out, I help. I'm like, what's going on? Like, how can I help? Love that one.
yeah, I feel you. I feel that too in my work here in California is a lot of connecting, a lot of networking. Oh, this person is going to possibly connect really well with this person.
That's the thing, right? That's the next level of connecting.
We are connectors.
Yes, and all of us are.
Yes, but some people are more natural than others.
True. So that's also a skill that we can inquire and get better at. Like really looking at the feedback. Like I'm thinking about the book from Chris Voss um, about the negotiation tactics. It's called differently. Never split the difference. Um, oh, sorry, that was a little bit messy. What's going on, Emily? Why are you looking like that? Because it makes me feel better. Bleh.
I don't know. Where do you want to take this conversation? Like, what do you want to talk about?
I've loved it already. It's really great to have like an open conversation with you just as an individual.
Yeah. I
That's
like
one of the thi yeah, that's one of the best things that we can do.
it is.
Have you by any chance had the opportunity to look at the conversation between Fabian and me on my YouTube?
No.
Oh, I'd really advise you to watch that one.
Was it an interview or was it a what?
It was a conversation between him and me in one of the Zondag calls, and um, we just said, let's just have a conversation, just talk, and let's see where we end up. And we came across some things from Mind Valley, some things from masculine and feminine, some things about Andrew Tate, some things about his brother Tristan Tate. It was just like a really great open conversation, just two guys, and it was so um, yeah, like refreshing.
I like that. What was the main like topic?
Oh, I went through so many things. Like it was like a 15-minute call, something like that, 50. And I was looking at the timer, like because I realized that one, and I'm like 5 minutes remaining, and I still didn't hear like four different topics, like real powerful topics, and all four of those were in those little last 5 minutes. I'm like, holy smoly, all of the things that we have talked about, and yeah, that's why it was so so magnificent to do such a thing, like a real level, high quality in contact podcast
Mm,
conversation recorded, whatever you want to call it.
I like that.
And that's even this one. Like, with your permission, I would really love to publicize this one.
I think we played around last in our last call that we had maybe like weeks ago where we were talking about, well, what if we were already thinking that people were watching our conversation already, even if they're not at the moment. And how I think we spoke about like whether like this would be content to put out or if we spoke about very vulnerable topics and how we would feel if it would be publicized. Like the difference that happens in our mind where it's like, yeah, if we're just having a one-on-one conversation, but then if like, well, what if this is put out for people to see?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a distinction there in the mind. I know
Yes.
for me, when I'm like, oh my gosh, would I want this to be like out there?
Yeah. And would you like that in this case, in the conversation that we just had today?
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay, really great. Thank you very much. And the because you mentioned something like because we are aware of it being recorded and it could be publicized, like especially like the could is a nice thing. You'll always have that option to not do that. Like
Right.
let's imagine that one of us are is like really like, whoa, this is not okay if this is publicized.
Yeah.
And it also gives us the space to not do that.
Mhm.
And that's also like the covenant of safety a little bit.
But I'm just curious for my mind, like what happens in my mind, like because of other people seeing, like my mission is to be my most authentic self wherever I go. Like that's the journey. So what
Yes.
happens in my mind that I'm like, oh, other people are now seeing this. Do I need to act different? Do I need to say
Hmm.
something?
Yeah. And it's partially the, because like, especially at the beginning, almost no one watches, but you yourself are watching. And because of that, you learn to like filter out your own mistakes. And with that, your um, storyline, like the way of telling, becomes better. Because this is not how I like normally spoke like 2 years ago, 3 years, 4 years ago.
Well, it's because of your transformation.
Yes. And having that expression, like recording it, reviewing it, and having that as an option accelerates that growth.
It does.
And like that's in January, I'm going to start with my 1 month cohort. And I still need to make the sign in document to actually have people sign in.
Wait, so if like okay, so I want to play now a little bit where I'm like, what if I were to play with like the Rich Slipman of that question that says, what I don't want you to know about me is I'm not saying you have to answer it, but it's just like, the play in being willing, the level of information that you're willing to share if it
Yeah.
quote unquote publicized.
Yes, and that is okay, and that's the game that I want to play with you, but not while being recorded, because
No,
that's the next level. That's
that's the
if yeah, and if like the part of it is I want to increase my level of intimacy with you as an individual
yeah.
without the world knowing that just yet, because that's not only for the
No,
world to know.
I know, and that's the reason why I'm playing. Like I'm thinking about it for myself, not for you.
Okay.
Like willing to share something me, even if it's being recorded, because it's about my mission of being my authentic self. So this isn't about you. It's about
Yes. Yeah.
willing to
Okay.
share
Yeah.
something maybe you're not comfortable with, but I'm asking myself that question.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. And if I may like end the offer, like 6th of January, I'm going to start with a full month of the Big S system, the AIM concept, where I teach people all of the basics to actually like get started for
Mhm.
free.
Mhm.
Full
But
for
why
free.
why should people, yeah, I'm asking you a why. Why should people care about your AIM program? Why
Well,
did
if they resonated with my story that I've already shared in the last 40 minutes,
what
and
story?
the conversation that you and I just had.
What, I mean, reflect it back to me.
Well, no, like that's not really the point because like his summary is also like it's um
I mean, I share this because I also speak this to myself. Like whatever I'm sharing is also for me to take in. Does that make sense? Because I'm constantly networking and I'm constantly having to put myself in their minds where it's like, why should I hire a coach? Why should I care? Because a lot of people
yeah,
don't go,
but no, but then you're starting from a different perspective because I am just looking for, I believe that I could bring some value upon your life based on what I'm seeing. And
so what's the value?
trying, what I'm trying to do is to communicate that difference that I'm seeing so massively with giving like little pieces of value, like advice that you could do to improve your life. Recording, brain dump, action management system, and all of the stuff that I publicized online. And if you notice a positive difference, and like especially a massive positive difference because of a small shift that you did based on my advice, then you would be jumping out of your skin for wanting to join that group. If you don't have that feeling, it's totally fine. And that's partially because you didn't really did one thing in that concept. Like like religiously did that
Can
concept.
be able to vocalize tangible outcomes for them as a result? Like, what is going to be worth their time to go through all this? Like, I know your work is amazing.
Improvement of life. Like
Okay.
having tomorrow better than today.
Yeah, but I think that's too broad.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it does require so many layers and nuggets and all of that stuff. A conversation that I had with Jason, like a full hour talking about the brain dump, like a random, yeah, not random, but super simple thing. And yet, all of the depths of what it does is embedded
Yeah,
into that.
that's what I'm trying to share with you is nobody's taking away the value of actually doing that. I believe in the brain dumping. I think it's amazing, but it's like thinking about the audience that some people don't really care and don't even no matter how amazing your product is, how game changer it is, I have to be able to communicate why it's so important for them to do this. It's not
Yeah,
just it's there's a bridge.
yeah, yeah, and
I
that's partially like creating the awareness that still needs to be doing,
right.
but
I'm
creating the awareness isn't the answer, the same answer as in why should they do this? That's a different search. Like that's a different thing.
Yeah, I'm sharing with you because this is what my work is going on right now. When I go to networking events, some people don't really know what branding is. They think only about logos, they think only about like color palettes. It's like been a very common thing that consistently comes back to me. So this is part of my market research where I'm like, okay, well, if they're most of these people are thinking in this way, well, but I know what branding is, I know how it's changed my life, how much it's transformed me, so I have to continuously work on the communication so that they can really understand how this is impacting their life.
And yes, you're right. And at the same time,
But I don't
the
want
the un yeah, but
I
the underlying motivation here
uh-huh.
for you to um like use that tactic is because you measure upon something, which is the amount of clients, the interaction that you're giving, and maybe even like the sales price, like the value that they can like actually buy. That's a different kind of motivation comparison to what I'm currently doing. I am creating content for free, and I notice people around me want to have more of that. And, and that's a very different way of thinking compared to marketing and market research and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if that works for you, then by all means.
Yeah, and that's kind of the state that I'm in.
Yeah, like this is what my experience is, I'm just sharing it.
Yeah,
What I'm
yeah, yeah, that's totally fine, of course. But we kind of derailed. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I think it's because sometimes I want to share, but I guess it's like sometimes I'm personally also not looking for advice. It's more of like how can I strategize to get better at what I'm doing? What works for me. So vice versa for you. Like you are doing, you know what you're doing, you know what you're experiencing, so you don't even need help. You just need to voice things. You need to just kind of have something reflected back to you so that you can have your own answers.
Yes. And currently, kind of the new thing that I'm planning to do, what I'm, yeah, what I just did like an hour ago, is to have my Discord channel live, to be live in my Discord, and to have people like listen in to the conversations that I have. And that becomes that my rate between expressing myself and publicizing that becomes smaller. Because it has been very, very, very big in a long time of our history. And now, because of the technology development of technologies, that's getting shorter with like us having a beautiful iPhone, being online, going on live stream, like the creating of content becomes easier, creating of sharing, creating of expression. And that's partially, well, not partially, that is like a very big way out of this loneliness, feeling of loneliness that everyone is experiencing. Almost no one is making contact. But as I'm
You
growing in that journey,
You mean that right now? Like you feel that people are experiencing that?
yes, almost no one actually like looks at each other anymore. I don't know if you like walked around, maybe your neighborhoods are different, but in my culture, holy smoly. Even when I'm looking for contact, hey, good evening, hello. Like we've been so ashamed for being seen as an individual. What if someone sees you be a little bit strange or crying or in emotions? What if and leaning into that level of emotions and freedom? And that's where true expansion lies. Lies.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, even too myself, I feel you on that. Like sometimes I want like I might not sound perfect or I kind of just want to express myself like I just did right now and not feeling bad about that or feeling guilty for that, you know?
Yes, love it.
Yeah.
What a world it is.
Huh?
What a world it is.
Yeah, yeah, it is, but I can't blame the external world. It's all for me to do the work instead. Does that make sense? Things are so much easier when I just put things on like I'm like,
Yes,
how can I be the change?
yes, that's the thing, right? Love it.
Be the example. How can I be the
Yes,
example?
yes. Lead by example and not by judgment.
Mhm. And that way I don't have to externalize everything where I'm like, oh, it's them. Oh, it's them. Nobody sees it. Or everybody sucks, but I'm the best. It's like, no.
Yes, I have that.
I hear it a lot in your language.
Yes, I do that. Yeah, I recognize it when I like re-listen to my own things. I can recognize it.
Think what matters is that you recognize it. That's the most important.
Yes, because that's the first step, and I'm growing as a result out of that one.
And I respect that.
Thank you. Like, oh, recently it's so much fun here in the Netherlands. You have like the zebra stripes in the road to have people like have get to walk there. And whenever I walk over one of those and the car actually like stops, I'm like, thank you. Like I started doing thank you a year ago, maybe 1.5 years ago. And now I just added like a little thumb to increase yeah, to increase the level of connection that I have with that driver. Little things. Little things make 1% rule. And that's incremental. It's exponential. Exponential is like for those.
So what were you thinking in regards to your branding? What's on the works for that?
Um, Recently I added that whole Peaky Blinders idea with like of course the logo, the colors, the font. I have that one. The emotions that you and I also had a meeting about like 2, 3, 4 months ago. Like the calmness, the rest, the control. There were some emotions embedded into that. I find
Mhm.
it very difficult to add those emotions into my output. So that might be something that you and I can discuss in the future.
Mhm.
Um, and now even the 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 way of dressing.
Mhm.
So that's kind of embedded. Um, and I've like added a little bit of the backbone upon how to improve like people coming in into the network itself.
A little
And
bit of
sorry,
little what?
um, like the internal system. If you choose to want to like see more of me, then it's like okay, go to my website, go to my connect page, and there you see all of the different levels, including the Discord, including the like newsletter. Everything is a little bit more optimized, like it makes more sense in
Hmm.
comparison to all of the messiness that it was with I2EQ and focus. Now everything becomes aim, or aim to be you, or maybe you in the future. So like I'm really happy with that framework. And it could be that you're like, oh Tim, like really amazing. Add a scent, cologne. Could be that your advice would be. That would be, by the way, very good exercise. I think that I'm going to do that tomorrow with a friend of mine. That would be right. Nice, right?
What exercise? Like what? What do you mean? Like
To
how to?
to add a to add a cologne to my brand.
Yeah.
So every time when I'm stepping in a restaurant, I wear that cologne. People smell that. Like that's part of the experience. That's something that I really could do very easily tomorrow.
Definitely can. Yeah, I mean, or do you want like just input on the visual aesthetics of things? Is that what it is in regards to branding?
No,
Uh,
like the best thing that you just did is to listen so deeply so that my comment about the cologne appeared. Because this was a part that I wasn't thinking about just yet. So the thing with coaching, when I'm seeing you do sometimes, coaching is listening and asking questions, and consulting and more like selling is more trying to sell me the solution. So the best thing that you're giving me is your time and your like presence. So thank you.
well, thank you for that acknowledgement. That means a lot.
Good.
Do you have any intentions to continue working on like like that is a piece of it, the visual, for you to keep bringing that to life and whatever suits you and whatever you feel is best. Do you have any intentions to also work on the foundation as far as your purpose and then the your personality and then the people, your audience, and
Yes.
your positioning?
Yes, of course. And that would be an like year plan, 3 year plan, or 5 year plan where someone like you would jump in. Because like I can manage only the cologne right now. I'm sorry, like I've got a messy life,
It's okay.
but like I, like the cologne only is just like great. And yes, I want to do all of the other things as well. But it's like okay, start with the beginning, like this little thing.
Yeah, you're
Because I have
free.
the tendency to overcomplicate things as well.
Yeah, I feel you. You're free to be you. I mean, so long as your intention.
And everyone has the intention of doing the correct thing, I think, I believe. And maybe a little added in the last 5 minutes, because there's also a conversation that has so many little golden nuggets and intrigues and things inside of them, is um, we were just talking about what was the conversation that we just had?
About the brandy,
Yeah,
the
personal
cologne,
branding and then the cologne and doing the little steps.
mhm, having a plan.
Do you know Abraham Hicks.
I've heard. Mhm.
Have you ever listened to them?
Not really.
Is that something that you are repelled from?
No?
Okay. I thought maybe this isn't really the thing that you um stand behind.
What?
It is something hard to believe what happens there.
Like
Uh,
energy?
well, channeling. You can summarize it into energy. I don't know. I haven't really made that step, but it is channeling itself. So you have like Esther Hicks, and she channels Abraham Hicks, and then they talk, so in the plural.
Are they like married?
No, no, no. Um, Abraham doesn't exist. Is like an gay tree. Like she is channeling an energy, an entity, and that entity is called Abraham. So that is like might be a little bit difficult to accept, to wrap your head around that. But it is something similar that Bashar is doing, Neil Donald Walsh with his conversations with God. I don't know if you read one of
I've
those books.
yeah.
Yeah, look, that's something similar, and most probably that's how my current belief system is those people that in the past written the Bible had experienced similar things. They had moments of clarity in such a way that people started to notice. And out of that noticing, books were written, and multiple people had that. And that's kind of I think, the starting point of source, however we want to call that. And that also like beautifully crystallizes the cross from Christianity. As in, this is the universe. That point. And that's a very beautiful thing to realize, to know, to live in.
Amen to that. High five. Give me a high five.
I love it. Love it, Emily.
What was your biggest takeaway from our conversation?
Like seriously, like I want to have more of these conversations.
We will.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Do you have to like hop off right now?
In a bit, yeah.
Okay, in a bit. Really good. And I really thank you for time, for the effort, for the reflection. Feel free to send me this one as soon as possible.
Yes, I'll share.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Then I'll publicize it directly, and then people can experience our conversation.
Yeah, I like that. That's exciting.
Yes, it is.
More like out there.
Is this for you like an extra layer, something that you haven't experienced in this depth?
Um, I guess it is in a sense, yeah.
Okay.
Because I wasn't already prepared thinking that it was going to be publicized. It kind of just came while
Yeah.
talking. So it was like, oh, okay.
That's the exciting part, right? So, sorry, say that again.
No, I mean, I like it. I like it.
I
I like
like it. Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Sometimes, like in the future, we will discuss on Google Meet because there is a difference in Zoom and Meet. And it says if I'm talking, then like it cuts away your input audio. And that makes that I'm sometimes missing your interaction.
Hmm.
So like just a little detail, but it's important to actually like improve upon that because sometimes I'm missing part of the conversation.
I like Zoom. I'm not a big Google Meet person.
True, but this difference, if you start noticing the difference, then it's starting to disconnect. Like we can use Discord as well. Yeah,
Mm.
Discord is free. Discord is amazing. Like all of the stuff that we currently are paying for is already there. Seriously. So, um, anything to close it off with? Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful to share these conversations, when each individual has a high level of clarity, it makes the conversation that much more powerful. So I'm grateful for that.
Yes, that's the thing, right?
Mhm. I will see you soon, Tim. We will reconnect and I'll
Thank
share.
you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
yeah, I share it like, we'll see. Thank you.
right. See you.
Have a good one.